Ukrainian-born Russian citizen has been extradited from Dubai to Moscow, accused of attempting to assassinate one of Russia's most powerful intelligence figures. The case has exposed what many are calling a deepening shadow war between Moscow and Kyiv, far from the front lines of Ukraine. Russian investigators say Lieutenant General Vladimir Alexeyev, the 64-year-old deputy head of the GRU military intelligence service, was shot 3 times with a silenced Makarov pistol inside an apartment building in northern Moscow. The attack took place just 12 kilometers from the Kremlin, an area considered among the most secure in the country. The Federal Security Service, the FSB, identified the alleged gunman as Lyubomir Korba, born in 1960 in the Ternopil region of what was then Soviet Ukraine. Russian authorities claim Korba was recruited by Ukrainian intelligence to carry out the hit. Kyiv has firmly denied any involvement. Russian state media broadcast dramatic images of masked FSB officers escorting a blindfolded man from a private jet after his extradition from the United Arab Emirates. 2 alleged accomplices have also been named, one detained in Moscow, another said to have fled to Ukraine. President Vladimir Putin personally thanked UAE leader Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed for assisting in Korba's detention, though Abu Dhabi has released few details about the operation.
Well, I think it was around 6:30. They say it was at 7, but I think it was 6:30 because by 7 the police had already arrived. Well, it seems, as far as I remember, I just woke up because of it. I could have been asleep and not heard something. So yes, there were several shots, but there were just cries for help. Help! Then she called the police and that was it. That's all I heard. And then the neighbors ran out and asked if they could help with anything, like calling an ambulance or the police, but she had already called everyone. Well, from time to time, probably yes, I saw her most likely. So there's nothing more to add. I just woke up very suddenly from the sound of those loud gunshots, and that is all that happened.
This time they shot at the general, as I heard on the news. It is located right here, at least as far as I have personally understood the situation. Right now he is apparently in the hospital already. And I honestly do not know exactly what he is saying at this moment.
Wait, just a moment ago, your people specifically mentioned that someone out there was seriously wounded and quite badly injured.
Right now, the special services are doing their job. Of course, reports are being made to the head of state. As for all of us here, we truly wish for the general to survive and achieve victory first. We hope that will be the case.
In Moscow, there was an assassination attempt on one of the members of the negotiation group, the deputy head of the delegation. How might this affect the further negotiation process on Ukraine? Thank you.
Naturally, I heard this news right before the start of the negotiations. I'm not going to make any predictions. That's not my role. That will be decided by the leadership of our country. But the fact is, this terrorist act once again confirmed the Zelensky regime's focus on constant provocations, which in turn are aimed at disrupting the negotiation process and are ready to do anything. The regime is ready to do anything just to convince their Western sponsors, in a determined effort to ensure they do not lag behind the United States in their persistent attempts to obstruct and derail the ongoing progress toward finally achieving a truly fair and equitable diplomatic settlement.
And the final question, please, Euronews.
European Union Foreign Minister. I would like to ask my question in English. A round of peace talks took place, which all sides described as productive, but without visible progress on key issues, territory and security guarantees. In addition, the meeting took place against the fact that Kyiv was subjected to contacts. So how does Moscow respond to the opinion of European leaders that Russia, in reality, is not interested in achieving peace?
You are completely free to work within any OSCE mechanism, whether in the military, political, or economic sphere. That's exactly what they say there. When will Russia stop refusing peace, stop bombing Kyiv? And in general, when will Russia do what Zelensky and the West are demanding from it? I'll give just one example, though there are many. About a year ago, roughly at the end of last year, President Trump, in a phone conversation with President Putin, said, let's think about it, maybe announce a one-month energy ceasefire during which both sides of the conflict would refrain from attacking energy infrastructure. President Putin immediately, in that same conversation, agreed. We announced this ceasefire, and for a month we didn't touch anything. Ukraine's energy facilities. Ukraine, for its part, remained silent about this proposal from Washington. And during that month, more than 130 attacks on Russian energy facilities were recorded. The relentless attacks continued on completely civilian targets, which were related to critical energy infrastructure, residential apartment buildings, passenger trains, and much more. And we have issued numerous and consistent warnings that we will continue to proceed with the utmost caution and restraint, as long as the enemy strictly adheres to and respects the fundamental principles and established regulations related to international humanitarian law. And we are still abiding by these rules. Only those targets that have a dual purpose or an unfair purpose are attacked. So when everything is forgiven to Ukraine, and all the sins are pinned on the Russian Federation, well, you see, the press really should somehow work honestly and try to do its job. Once again, during our meetings today, I took the opportunity to mention to our esteemed interlocutors, Mr. Ignacio Cassis and Mr. Mevlut Cavusoglu, exactly how these international institutions operate, including the specific work of the OSCE Institute for Freedom of the Media. So, when Russia once again agreed to reach a definitive and lasting peace settlement with Ukraine, already following the Minsk agreements, when NATO and the United States categorically dismissed our formal proposals for a new European security system, and when the special military operation began, we had absolutely no other viable alternative remaining. And then, approximately 2 or even 3 weeks after that point, initially the Ukrainians themselves proposed the start of formal negotiations, and subsequently, in the city of Istanbul, at the very beginning of April, we collectively agreed to support the specific principles that were put forward by the Ukrainian side during those talks.